In the digital world today, people are frequently using streaming platforms to document their daily lives. But what happens when tragedy strikes during one of the live stream moments? This was the case with Kalecia Williams, a young TikToker who was recording a video of herself dancing just minutes before her untimely death. So, what actually happened? Here, we unravel everything we do know about her senseless killing and the aftermath. 16-year-old Kalecia, also known as Pinky Williams' family, did not have the slightest idea what horrible events had occurred until the next day when the morgue called April Smith, Kalecia's mom, informing her that they were waiting for her to come. So, what really went down that fateful night? Kalecia Williams' wiki doesn't give us much information into what we can tell about her as a person, and it is actually difficult to find information that separates the late teen from the tragedy that took her life. What we do know and confirm is that she was a well-liked person who enjoyed living life to the fullest and socializing. This is what we could learn about her and the details which surround her devastating death. Please note that this video is for informational purposes and to bring awareness to Kalecia's story. Please pray for the friends and the family of the victim. As mentioned earlier, the vibrant 16-year-old teen was known for frequently posting on her social media accounts, specifically on TikTok. In addition to that, she was known for frequently documenting her life, usually through various videos of her performing trending dances on TikTok. It was during her recording of one of these videos that tragedy struck, and beginning of a struggle for her life, which can be seen in the last few seconds of the video she posted. Kalecia's friends had invited her to a party that was supposed to be hosted at an Airbnb with an adult chaperone, which her parents confirmed with the allocated chaperone beforehand. Her stepfather encouraged her to go to the event, since she felt she had been confined to her house for too long since the lockdown due to COVID-19. It was supposed to be with a couple of her friends from school and the mother of one of the friends. According to her stepfather, this was something they had done once before, so it felt comfortable letting her go the second time. Kalecia's mother also agreed with her daughter getting some time out of the house and enjoying herself with her friends. The chaperone then informed Kalecia's parents that the event would be an Airbnb party for children and that she would be responsible for everything. With this assurance, the parents felt even more at ease and decided that sending Kalecia to spend the night was a good idea. However, unknown to her family, she and her friends ended up at the Hyatt Regency without an adult supervision seemingly nearby. It was at the Hyatt Regency where the events surrounding Kalecia Williams' death occurred, and the same place where she was eventually found at 12:30 a.m. Her friends apparently were the first ones to find her on the floor of the room she was staying in, with visible gunshot wounds to her body. At around 12:02 a.m., Kalecia is seen in a TikTok video performing a dance routine when someone suddenly enters the room without knocking. She looks shocked and afraid, and then suddenly stops filming her video. The sound of gunshots was then heard from her room, and a few minutes later, unbeknownst to partygoers, two guys later found her on the floor of her hotel, severely injured and bleeding. They carried her to the elevator while holding her from behind and supporting her legs. Meanwhile, as of 12:27 a.m., authorities had earlier been notified about a disturbance at Hyatt Regency. The cops, after their arrival, checked on Kalecia, but she was not breathing and did not have a pulse. She was immediately transferred to the hospital where the medical staff really tried to save Kalecia's life, but were unsuccessful. The 16-year-old was then pronounced dead. Her shooting and subsequent death was one of 3 slayings recorded across the city within 24 hours over a violent Christmas weekend. Although the tragic incident occurred past midnight, her family wasn't alerted to her death by the supposed chaperone of the party or her friends. As stated by Kalecia's mother, the family only found out through the morgue the next day when they called her. It turns out that the chaperone, for some reasons unknown, refused to answer Kalecia's parents' phone call. The parents were calling to inquire over their daughter to ensure she was safe and all right, like every loving and caring parent would do, but were being ignored. They were furthermore confused, as she was not even supposed to be at the Hyatt Regency because they were informed the party would be at an Airbnb. The family was given very few answers from those who were with Kalecia the night she died, and the police were holding their cards very close to their chest before the investigation was concluded. They were, however, informed that their daughter had died due to a gunshot wound to the groin. Kalecia's parents also held the hotel staff responsible for her daughter's death, and she, along with her husband, Kalecia's stepfather, protested outside of the Hyatt Regency Hotel. They were also joined by some supporters to express their outrage at the hotel's negligence, which reported in the daughter's death. "I want the surveillance footage of what happened. I need to know who went into that room and who came out of that room, who was all there, and what took place. I need to know what happened after she made that last TikTok video at 12:02 and she was dead at 12:23. I need answers," a distraught Mrs. Smith said. Nothing so far has been mentioned about her biological father, as his whereabouts and even his identity remain unknown. Kalecia Williams, before her death, lived with her mother and stepfather. The case was moving quickly at this point, and shortly afterwards, a suspect was arrested for her murder after a short investigation. He was charged with various felonies, including reckless conduct, aggravated assault, sexual assault, felony murder, and possessing a pistol under the legal age. Preliminary investigation suggests that the victim was inside of a room at the Hyatt Regency with a juvenile male companion, Grant said. A verbal dispute occurred between both parties, which resulted in the juvenile male fatally shooting the victim. The teen killer was then booked into the Metro Youth Detention Center as he was a minor. His name, however, has never been disclosed to the public. Although, according to reports, he has since been released as of early 2022, with a lot of public backlash surrounding the lack of justice being served. Investigators had described the two teens as acquaintances to each other and said they were the only people inside the room at the time of the shooting. It is rather unclear about what the argument was about. Late Kalecia Williams' funeral was attended mainly by close friends and family, and not so much has been publicly stated about it, presumably due to the family's wishes. However, her obituary gives us a glimpse into how deeply her friends and family loved her, with so many stating they miss her dearly. Her viewing was held Friday from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. at the R.W. Andrews Mortuary in East Point, according to the late teen's online obituary. Her funeral was scheduled for 2 p.m. on a Saturday at the life-changing Walk of Faith Church on Washington Road. Kalecia Williams' case has really upset so many people, as this crime occurred at a private party where there was supposedly adult supervision. What happened to her remains one of the most tragic things to happen to teenage girls. She had many goals ahead of her to accomplish, and having begun on the right foot, she was already destined for greatness. But alas, death cut everything short. As for the boy who pulled out a gun and shot Kalecia Williams, it is apparent that he has little to no self-control. Now that law enforcement agents have released him from detention, they should further send him to an organization that deals with and helps people learn how to control their anger. If only he could control his anger that day, and there is every possibility that Miss Kalecia Williams would still be alive today and probably at home safe with her parents. She could have gotten the chance to experience and live life even more. Although the late teen's life was taken away from her far too soon, her memory continually lives on through her family and friends who advocate for her daily. If you want to see more videos like this, please turn on all notifications and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.